Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler platter series videos I do for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, it's root beer, so I'm happy already. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm in my back room today, which means we get Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. Ooh, Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am doing something else. What is it? I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? Happens to be my my Central Disorder shirt. Yeah, boy. But what is Central Disorder? I hear you cry out with a chorus of 1,000 screaming souls. Central Disorder, they are a local metal band out of Illinois who I became familiar with a few years ago now, at the time I'm doing this. I was out to see a show. They were one of the opening acts, and I, literally from the first song, was like, holy shit, these guys are awesome. And immediately took note of them. I was fortunate enough, I actually ran into them, again, at a later show. Extremely good dudes, put out extremely awesome music. I really love these guys. I think they're badass, and I love what they do. So much so I've actually got videos of their performance. They're on the channel, just in case maybe you want to check it out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're incredible. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Root beer, eh? Yes, indeed, folks, we are doing a root beer review, which, by the way, because it is a root beer review, means it's going to end up in my root beer reviews playlist, which is a playlist for just root beer. But if you watch my channel, you know I'm a root beer slut. I love root beer. I've reviewed plenty of root beers on the show, and I'm always on the lookout for new brands and, stuff that I haven't tried before. And, a few days ago, I was out at Dollar General, which is dollar store if you're unfamiliar, and turns out they have their own root beer. So, it happens to be, boom, Clover Valley Root Beer. And yeah, Clover Valley is their in-house root beer brand. This also makes this tie into a series of videos I've been doing where I've been trying, in-house brand sodas and, sort of gauging, is the budget worth the value and the thing and all that stuff. So, but it's root beer. How bad can root beer be? Let's get a thing for the thing that looks like this. We'll kind of Let's try out some Dollar General root beer. I think it only cost me like $1.25 something, so. Please be good. It smells like a root beer. Huh. It even tastes like a root beer. I'll be damned. I mean, it's not as full flavored as some of the really, really nice ones, but this is honestly a lot better than I was expecting. It actually has a hit like a root beer should. You can definitely. It has that very sort of earthy hit to it, almost mildly medicinal. There's almost like a slight cooling effect to it. I'm trying to think of what the name of the ingredient is, but it comes up in root beers, almost like a birch beer a little bit, where there's got to be some birch in this. It has 100% satisfaction guaranteed. There has to be some birch in this. I don't know. Doesn't say anything, but whatever. But yeah, no, there's some oomph to this. It tastes like a root beer, not just some bullshit. That's actually rather nice. Now, I'll say this. I'll fully admit that I am being swindled just a little. Because, this is a budget root beer. It's definitely one of those things where I can kind of tell that, they knew what specific artificial flavors and what to push it and give it that little extra oomph. I understand that. I don't think that the fine people at Clover Valley are, spending extensive periods of time going over there and brewing this stuff up. But at the same time, look, if you can manage to go over there and make it taste good, and hopefully avoid any like chemical taste or anything like that, I'll fully give it to you. And that's what I'm gonna do with this, because yeah, like again, it doesn't taste like the best root beers do, but I will say this: it tastes better than most of the discount root beers I've had, and it definitely tastes better than even some of like the mainstream ones. Like I would take this over mug root beer. In fact, recently I had mug again for the first time probably in over a year, and yeah, excuse me, but that's actually pretty dang good. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. Like I said, it has like a proper root beer kind of taste to it. It's a little weak on the tail end, but like that's nice. And if you watch me do root beer reviews, you know that like there's like two camps that I feel there are. You have like the A&W and the mugs, which are, sweeter root beers, more commercial, very easy to kind of go with. And then on the other end of that, you have like the more kind of what I consider root beer type root beers. They're a little bit harsher, like Barks and Dads, that, not going to be for everybody, but for people like me, at the very least, that's what we're looking for in root beer. This, I would say, it does kind of swaddle the line a little bit, but I would say that it leans more on the one side with the Barks and the Dads. Like, it tastes a lot closer to Barks than it does like A&W. One more drink. Having a good day. Root beer in the morning. Yeah, that's nice. Again, if it... Well, okay. Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, kind of yes and kind of yes. Like, here's the thing. Is that a root beer I would go over there and buy specifically when I wanted, like, a root beer root beer? No, I would still get, like, a Dad's or a Barks. Something proper. But if I wanted to just have some root beer in the house and I wanted, something with some heft to it, I probably would pick that up and keep it around the house. It's nice. And again, in terms of, like, especially the budget brands, it's definitely one of the better ones that I've had. Signature Select had a good root beer. There's some other ones too. I'm trying to think, but like off the top of my head, definitely better than like Casey's or some of the other ones. And again, I'd say I probably prefer it over something like Mug. It works for me, even though there are downsides to it. Like again, it's masking itself as a better root beer than it really is, and you can tell. It is a little bit weak again on the tail end. It doesn't have a huge depth of flavor. Instead, it kind of hits you with flavors that are nice, and then it kind of just, lets it linger a bit while it fades out. But I do think that I would be willing to grab this again, for sure. And if I'm recommending it, I mean, look, if you're somebody who you enjoy yourself a budget deal, and you're somebody who, also happens to like root beer, you could do way worse. Way worse than Clover Valley root beer. Like, is it the best root beer in the world? No, it doesn't even come close. Wouldn't even rank. But in terms of, like, again, budget in-house root beers, it's one of the better ones, for sure. So I think I would recommend it. Like, again, especially if you just want to have something to have around the house. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go give yourselves a truly root beer-tastic rest of your life. Because, folks, when it's root beer, it's always root beer-tastic. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have any in-house style sodas that you're fond of? I think for me personally, having done these videos for a while, I would say that, Signature Select as an overall brand is the most impressive to me. But every now and again, you'll find one that works pretty nicely. I do find it interesting that sort of across the board, though, flavor to flavor, they do tend to kind of, like, if you have a good brand, all their sodas tend to be good. If you have a not so good brand, all of their sodas tend to not be so good. But anyway, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Bye.